So tell me, how's it been working? And since we last talked, did you start implementing some bomb videos? What have you been doing?
Yeah, I did start implementing bonbon videos. I'm probably gonna end up getting a green screen as well, so I can jazz up my background a little bit. But yeah, getting in the swing of things. I got the I can't grab it right now, but I got that circle light and everything. The one thing that, like, because we were talking about ad, like staying on top of the ad to make sure that it's performing adequately, is I noticed that, like, at least for me, every week or so, like the results start to slip. And so I was like, man, I got to split test again. That's like extra ad dollars I have to spend. But I guess the way I have to think about it, it's just that's kind of the cost of doing things, is sometimes you have to split test more than other times. I mean, am I right on that? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at it as a whole, it's lifetime versus last 7 days. And if it goes way too far off, like don't, if it's just a day or two, don't make it a big deal. Study it a little bit, because it could be, it is. I don't look at it in the frame of day to day as much as I do weekly to life versus lifetime. And then
okay,
some of the times you think you're not getting leads, but they're actually addresses moving into that area. So you kind of have to study your cost per click and make sure, for me on that funnel, the click to contact ratio is staying consistent, right? Because I want to see that 50% or higher. So when in doubt, splitting is a good idea. And remember, when you split, that's a big thread that was going on in our insider group. Is like, well, everybody's running this one. I'm like, well, that doesn't matter if everyone's running this one. It's always an indication of the first 500 people reached anyways. So you could have 3 to 5 ads going, and you wake up the following morning and one's clearly winning, one's clearly giving you more contact information. That click to contact ratio is high, there's more clicks coming in, and then you just let that one ride. And now with these new custom domains, there'll be times where someone can let that ride indefinitely. So one of the things you got to acknowledge too, if you want that organic relevancy to start populating too, start viewing your ad every day, start consistently looking at clicks, or excuse me, likes on the ad, start consistently looking at the comments, and do your own part by sharing it into groups that you're a part of. Do your own part to share it on your personal Facebook. I've literally seen people come to my ad performance review classes with triple to quadruple lead flow from doing that. And it's just how you share it organically, right? You're not going to be paying for those clicks, the organic clicks. You're paying for the sponsored clicks.
I didn't even think of it in that frame of mind. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add real quick there, Marcus, as well, is something I've been seeing a lot more and more lately. I'm seeing a lot more split tests, which is great. That's exactly what we want to see. But also keep in mind, you don't want to compete against yourself long term. And while the split test is darn near a necessity early on to find relevancy, 24 hours, think of it as in short sprints, right? Your first test isn't the marathon. You're running short little sprints. But as soon as, and I've seen this a couple times where, maybe struggling to find relevancy, whatever it is, all of a sudden you get 3 ads that are all great, and it becomes, okay, well, now I don't want to turn any of them off, right? So really then what my recommendation is, look into the ad section where it says show leads. If you've got 2 ads or 3 ads that are all competing against each other very similarly in terms of the statistics, hit the show leads button, and it'll only filter the leads that individual ad has brought in, and use that as the determining factor. Which one brought in more phone numbers? Which one's more in the areas that I want? Which one's more complete names? Which one seems to be the leads I want to work with more? Because if you have all 3 ads running for 3 days a week, what's going to happen? And I always say this, it's like you're sitting in the auction hall with 2 ping pong paddles going, me again, me again, me again. You're bidding yourself up, right? So short sprints with the testing, lock into one that works, sit back and let it roll.
Yeah. And you can do it, you can split the satellite versus map. You can versus terrain. You can go back and forth between if someone were to buy your home funnel to the what's your home really worth funnel, right? You can try, like, everybody thinks you have to leave the 3 emojis in that one funnel, but you don't. You can pick off the emojis, right? So the key is test it. Why is it that the funnel, what's your home really worth, enter your address, receive your home value, doesn't have any emojis, and it works extremely well, but everybody thinks they have to do the emojis on the other funnel? So just get to A/B testing a little bit more, try different variations of that map, satellite, terrain, emoji versus not emoji. That's called an A/B test. But we'll talk more about that on more of our ad performance stuff. I'm going to go to Juan and Irina to share some wins. So who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So yeah, I had a good week. I actually had a listing appointment last night, and I have one Friday afternoon. So the one from last night, that was a lead from back in January. So I sent the CMA, and then I just kept up with the StreetText drip. Sometimes I just set up like an auto thing in my system. So when any houses went up for sale around his neighborhood or sold, I would just shoot him a quick email. Hey, this just sold in your area. Any excuse just to shoot him an email. And yeah, we just kept in touch like that. And he actually responded to one of the emails that was sent through the StreetText drip about not doing renos and stuff like that. So he said he'll have me in this week. He is interviewing a couple other agents, but yeah, I saw him last night. It went really well. And yeah, hopefully I get that one. And then another one was just from last week. I did listen to the Mastermind from last week, so I actually incorporated something from that. So I did the CMA, and it was actually very similar to what the woman that was speaking last week said. I always say, like, thank you so much for requesting it. I truly appreciate it, with a little smiley face emoji. It's my initial estimate, without having been inside your home, which is required to give you the most accurate assessment. And so what I put is, I'm available Thursday morning or Friday afternoon to pop over. What day works best for you? And then I sent him a bomb video, and he replied, yeah, he called me, and he was like, so, you're available Friday afternoon, like pop over and have a look, and just, I want to make sure the number you sent me in the CMA is actually accurate. So, and that was it.
That's amazing. So what are those price points, if I can ask, on both those areas and those homes?
Yeah, so the one last night is it's like a little fixer upper, so it's about 500.
Oh, no,
And that's low in our area. And the other one that I'm seeing on Friday is probably 1.2. And I spoke to somebody a couple days ago as well. They sent me all the photos of their home because I asked for that. So my initial email that goes out once you click on my ad, it's my video, just like, hey, I'm working on it, whatever, send me some pics of your home. So he did, and it's a beautiful home. I think he'll get about maybe 1.5 or 1.6 for that one. So he said he's just going to paint and do a couple of things, and then he'll have me in. Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah, and I have another one actually at the end of the month, and that one is probably about 1.2. And he's just finishing rentals, but we've been talking since January. So again, same thing. He's on my drip. He's on my monthly newsletter. He's on the StreetText drip. Anytime anything goes for sale or is sold in his area, he gets an email from me saying, hey, did you see this one? It just sold. So.
Irina, what area are you in that you're getting such nice price points?
I'm in Ontario. So right now, the average sale price is about $750. Like little tiny homes are going for $500,000. So it's crazy what's going on right now.
Irina, what are you using BombBomb? Which parts are you using BombBomb or video?
You know what? I was really using it like all the time in January, February, and then I just stopped a little bit in March, and then I picked it up 2 weeks ago. But I do have it in my StreetText back end. So the first 2 emails, like the one that goes out automatically once they click in my ad, that one is just like me, hi, it's Irina, whatever, send me some more info on your home. And then the one that goes out 3 days later, it's just me again, hey, let me know what you think about your home value. I'd love to connect and, get more info from you, that sort of thing.
And you're asking them for pictures from the get-go?
Yep, for sure. I mean, there's really no other way to give them an accurate estimate. So it's just like, hey, I'm working on it. If you can let me know these things. So I have it in my video, but then the email that goes out, I have it like written as well. So people are usually like pretty good with giving me a few details. And then once they get the CMA, again, I say it's initial. If you want more accurate CMA, I need to know like these things. And some houses, if they just bought it like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I can see exactly what it looks like in the system, then I know. But a lot, maybe it's people that have had these homes for like 30 years. I have no idea how many bedrooms or what it looks like. There's just no way I can give you an accurate estimate. So.
Wow. Irina, take us back to the beginning, because you and I went back and forth a couple of times in trial, and we were trying to figure out if it was going to be a fit for you. What have you learned since then that like you would take away to people that maybe are just starting or maybe even struggling, that has enabled you to kind of start looking at making this more work better for you? So what are the key takeaways that you found in your follow-up process?
It's just follow up. You just have to follow up, follow up, follow up. Like my area is super competitive. Like there's a ton of realtors. There's a couple of like really big guys. So I'm probably, I 100% I'm competing against them yesterday. The client wouldn't tell me because I asked. But yeah, so it's just a follow up. Like what's your value, you know? Like I said, I use BombBomb. If they give a phone number, I pick up the phone. Like the guy I'm seeing on Friday, he had a phone number, so I called and he answered, and we had a really nice conversation. He called me yesterday and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much. You do beautiful work. Your CMA is beautiful." It's like an old Italian man. He's like, you know, come over Friday afternoon and, you know, make sure that the prices are right. So, you know, just be yourself. I'm pretty chill. Like I don't push. Not too salesy. Um, that's just my approach.
Love it.
But
So
yeah,
if you,
definitely the follow up.
if you get the phone number, like what's your opening line? Do you have one, or you just kind of just go by the way you feel at that moment?
Oh, I just say, hey, hi, it's Irina, you know, from Chase Realty. You requested a Facebook ad from me. And just so they know like who I am and you know why a few of them are like, oh, sorry, I'm not interested, click. Some people don't think that I'm, you know, that I call, but I call. If the number's there, I call 100%. Or I send a text if they don't answer. A lot of them don't answer, so then I follow up with a text.
Love it. Any questions for Irina?
I kind of have a question for everybody. With these, so again, real numbers, having real conversations, but I'm finding that like with the evaluations that again, trying to get pictures from them because that doesn't make a difference. But man, they're getting evaluations from other agents that are like sky high, and I'm not ready to go there yet without seeing the place and those kind of things. So I'm kind of losing appointments just by not saying, hey, your home is going to be worth this, because I don't believe in overshooting a property. Are you guys facing that in your areas, and how are you handling that?
Well, for me, I just put, I think your home may sell for $950 or more. I said, and then I put in bold, this is my initial, and that's in capitals, estimate. I really need to see some photos or do a quick walkthrough, because there's no way you're gonna know unless you see what it looks like.
Yeah, I just have them, I have other agents that are shooting them the freaking world without even seeing their house. And so, and this is new. I haven't seen this yet. This is just starting to happen now, where they're literally getting a few different CMAs sent to them, and agents are sending them the world and quoting them the world. And I'm just like, let me see your house. I can tell you, but I'm just not ready to go there. So I was just wondering if anybody else has figured out a way to combat that.
What if you considered going back more, instead of a hard number, with a range, and you can use that as an example of homes in our area are selling for above ask, so it's hard for us to just determine a number. Your home, based on activity in our area, would likely sell between 680 and 860. Obviously, it's a very wide range, and you could fit anywhere on this range based on the condition of your home and any improvements. Now, in order to establish a baseline, here's what I think you need to do. And also, anybody who's clicking on these things, they might have clicked on other people's ads and stuff like that. What can you offer of value that's quick and easy for you, that's above and beyond a home valuation, right? And we say this on other masterminds and stuff as well, but always, and I use this for mailers, but value stack. Offer something additional that isn't very difficult for you to offer. And I think Irina might have said it as well earlier with the put them on a notification list, right? So if you can assume why they are asking for their valuation, maybe it's because they want to look at what they can afford. Maybe they want to start shopping and buying other properties. And a lot of times that's what I used to hear all the time is, well, in a hot market, I'm scared to put my home on the market because I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to not have a home to move into. So if we can establish an appropriate baseline for you, then we can start shopping, and then we'll decide whether or not it's the right time to put your home on the market. But again, I would go back more to that range, and that way you can give that pie in the sky number as well.
Well, and I do that, but the pie in the sky number now is not high enough for them. So literally, so I give my value proposition, and those of you that have been on here before know my value proposition and what we do from handling construction, dump truck, movie trailer, all of that. But the prices are so high. I mean, literally 2 days now, I've heard it from them saying, that my range isn't high enough, number one. And even on one of them, where we came in, probably we were going to be high at 550 and they want a net 600. And I'm just like, what is going on? And so just trying to get people being realistic right now is also, I'm just right now, that's a struggle I'm seeing right now, is all of a sudden because they hear seller's market, they're just really off the chart. So my range, I mean, do you guys, do you change the range that's actually on your market? Or do you just say, this is where it's at, and then just not risk? Because if I get in front of them, I think I win. I usually win if I can get in front of them. But right now my numbers aren't high enough because I'm an honest real estate agent. So my numbers aren't high enough to get in front of them because they want to hear the moon.
Well,
I'm definitely noticing that here in Vegas too. And one of the things that I'll say to the clients is you still have to list at where the market is if you want to get these multiple offers and get it bid up. And then I can actually find very few, but I can find examples, because most of the things being listed here are listed at what the current market is. And then they're going up 50,000 over list price. But if I can show them something that's actually been listed too high, look, price decrease, price decrease, price decrease. It's decreases are still happening, not as much, but it's for people like that who are like, oh, no, this is where it's going to be worth in 6 months. So this is what I want to sell it at now. That might, having that visual of showing them something that is priced too high might be helpful.
Yeah, and I'd agree. I would never take an overpriced listing. I just wouldn't do it. I think it's detrimental to your brand. It's just not a good look, period. So, giving a higher range to get in the door, again, once you're there, I think you can explain things appropriately where you can say, yeah, my range, I did say 680. And I think realistically, your home could approach that. However, if we list at 680, you're going to get maybe, one person who comes in and lowballs us. Whereas if we list closer to that 625, 630 mark, you don't have to accept a full price offer still, right? I mean, but we can start there and see what happens. Right. So that's usually my recommendation on that one. Same thing is get in the door, do what you do from there. You are the star of the show, not your CMA, not the piece of paper you sent them. Once you guys get in the door, I would assume your hit percentage is 80% or higher, right? I mean, we all go to listing appointments that we don't get the listing. It sucks, but it's not as common, right? Usually you get in the door and you get a pretty good shot at getting that listing. So that's where you need to get. You need to get to that door, right? So yeah.
One thing that you might be able to do too that could set you apart from other agents is if you're over the phone speaking to them and they've gotten other agents that have promised them the sun, the moon, and the stars, is you add value and say, well, that's why we need to meet. Because if they're already promising you this number and they haven't seen your house, you can imagine that when we go on the market, they're probably going to hammer you down for pricing to come down, but they're just doing this to earn your business. And that's what sets me apart from other agents.
Joe, Juan, go ahead and share, buddy.
Okay, hey, this ST lead came early on when I first signed up with you guys, probably back sometime around late December, mid-December. At that point, I knew nothing about following up. And so coming to these masterminds, there were things that I kept picking up on and picking up on this, picking up on that. Ultimately, this particular lead that came in had a number, had an email address, had an actual address. All this matched up to an actual owner on the tax record. So of course, I get on the phone, call, didn't get through, sent the CMA, heard nothing back. At this point, it's probably after the new year has come along, and we're talking about, I think, maybe potentially getting little bits and pieces of what people were doing to tweak their follow-up. And so I started tweaking my follow-up. I think at that point was when I picked up on HomeBot. Well, when I sent that HomeBot preview video experience, that must have hit the bell to get this guy to initiate a conversation back with me. And basically, he was laying it out there and saying he's not ready, and that he seems to think that I know what I'm doing, but that he's not ready. So I said, hey, how about if we have a moment to just talk, let's figure out, what your timeline is. And he actually agreed. So we got on the phone, we talked. They're pretty much between 1 to 2 years of retirement, but they still need to do certain things to their home. They have a particular property right off of the lake. It's price point between $680 and $720. But the interesting thing that happened was they shared my information to the brother. Well, the brother's from Rhode Island, and the brother called me and wanted to see if I might be able to help them in acquiring a property. So of course I said, yes, I'll certainly do it. So we met up at some point mid-January. I think it was a Wednesday. We just finished doing a mastermind. So I was really pumped up. And I think I was on the phone with Liza. And I said, yeah, meeting these buyers that I've never met before. And she's like, are you crazy? And I said, no, we're meeting at a Panera. So it's a public place. He and the wife met me. We had like about a 45-minute conversation, nothing about real estate. It all geared toward the fact that the brother, basically, they rescue boxers. They rescue Yorkies. I have Yorkies, so that was our bond right there. And then they were here for about a week. Well, by day 5, the husband was already itching to let's go see properties, let's go see properties. So didn't have them pre-qualified or anything, but I figured that it might be a good idea to grab them while they were here. We did. We saw a few things. Next thing we know, we're under contract, and we closed the deal on Monday, 4/20.
Yay. Love that.
Yeah.
And Juan, what I love about your story is that, like, you've been at almost every mastermind. You just take a little bit of gold, try it back with your follow-up. You were here with us since December, and nothing biting, but finally you get one, right? So
yes, sir.
Consistency, it's coming back, it's not giving up, it's keeping your mindset high, trying new things, but it's follow up, right? It's not an automation that's going to do it for you. You just, even your
right.
Your home bot was great. Maybe you got your foot in the door, but you had to follow up.
I agree. And what's interesting is now that I sold the brother and the wife the house, I reached out to the original brother and I said, hey, look, now you have someplace to visit. And he says, well, my wife and I are talking. We're probably going to have you come out sometime in the summer. So I think that the fact that stuff took place and the fact that I kept giving him something and not just set and forget it, because I kept going back to the follow-up, just like Irina said. You go back to the follow-up, you tinker this, you think of that. And then you sprinkle a little bit of Jennifer as well, because you got to stalk them on Facebook. And those little things you pick up when you come to these masterminds. If you don't come to the masterminds, it's hard to pick up on these little tidbits. So
love it. Anybody want to share? It's just amazing. Let's keep it going. This is great momentum.
Hey, I have something that it's not it's kind of a StreetText win, but it's not. I have a local geographic farm that I've been farming for like 4 years, mailing, door knocking, all that stuff. And I opened up my StreetText account. I started adding those people into my mailing farm, and I sent everybody, because I wanted to get the bulk rate, this postcard, which is basically the map that they click on in their Facebook ad. And some lady from my farm called me yesterday, or actually emailed me and said, hey, looks like you're the expert, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never met her. We did a quick Zoom appointment, her and me and my wife, and she's got 2 homes to sell. So I'm like, okay, so it's kind of StreetText. I think it's just the vibe. I always tell my wife, it's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something that's real estate related and you're trying to provide value. The listing may not come from door knocking. It may come from cousin Joe's Aunt Sally. I don't know. But if you're doing the action, I've always found that the work finds you, if you're out there and available. So I'm pretty excited to be with you guys because it keeps me on a schedule. It keeps me doing something. These leads keep coming in and I'm following up like a hound, you know, and I'm learning from you guys to follow it more and more and more. And I like a lot of the ideas. The woman with that dealing with the overpriced stuff. I'm in LA, man, and it is just insanity out here. I can't even, I got a listing signed yesterday in Silver Lake, which is just, wow. Tiny little house for almost $1 million, you know? I mean, who can even live in that thing? I don't even know, but it's okay because when I went in there, I was pretty confident because I had been working with buyers in that area and he wanted to list really high. He had these high in the sky dreams. And it wasn't hard to tell him, look, dude, everybody's on the internet now. Everybody's an expert. So if they see you sticking out above all the other weeds, this thing, you know, this overpriced, whatever you want to call it, they're going to see it and they're not even going to come look at your house. That's not what you want, is it? And he's like, no, I don't. So we price it at market value and we shoot for the stars together. And he's like, I love it. Let's do it. So I'm having fun. And that's all I got to say. So thanks for listening.
Wow, Rich, I love that. So show us that mailer again. And
Sure.
in the future, you're going to want to actually add in your little new custom URL to that mailer.
Yeah, I didn't have it at the time when I did it. So
Love it. That's cool.
yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. You know,
that's so smart. So you sent that to your entire farm, not just the people that you had got
Right.
through your database on Facebook, which is awesome. And I think there's something really like profound and simple to what you said, which is, I was actually just listening to, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday, and I was listening to Matthew McConaughey, who was talking about that the power of delayed gratification, and he said delayed ROI. He showed his son his Academy Award. He said, "You see that Academy Award?" And he was talking about the fact that, remember what I did a year and a half ago? That really sucked. And his son's like, yeah. He's like, that reward didn't show up until a year and a half later. He's like, that's the power of investing into your future. You do things that, you know, you're investing into your future. And it's the same thing where everybody's like, if you put a lot of action into something and you haven't seen a result yet, well, guess what? All of that work is worth it. You just haven't seen it yet. So it's coming. So if you keep, like what you just said there, like you sent that mailer to your entire database, there was somebody in your database that you communicated to previously who was paying attention to you, but you didn't even know that they were. And so when they got it, they're like, yeah, this is the expert, because you're reinforcing the message they already believe because they've already been paying attention, which is so cool. I think there's so much power in that. So that's the power of follow-up. So if you feel a little bit like, you know, maybe a little lower, or you just feel like, okay, you know, let Rich's story just encourage you, because the truth is the opposite. The truth is all that work you put in is investing into your future. Everything you've done up until now is worth it. So go out there and send another mailer. Go out there and make that another phone call, or send that newsletter or that email blast, you name it. It's worth it. It really is.
I had a question if anybody has ever used StreetText to find distressed properties.
Good question, Logan. You're probably familiar with a lot of custom stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of angles to take there, kind of the we buy ugly homes for cash angle and stuff that I've seen work. Anytime doing any ads that are around foreclosures, distressed properties, really anything like that, be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Stay up on your comments. You're gonna get negative comments because the angle you're coming from is somewhat negative, even though you're trying to help people and that's your goal. Anytime you have that angle where, again, it can be viewed by the public as somewhat negative, your comments are going to be outrageous. Even if you're, hey, you know, if someone wanted to buy your home, would you sell it? Find out its value. That can get pretty negative comments sometimes, right? So it's really important, again, any angle that you go with, to monitor those comments, but definitely come on next week's custom ad class and we can see what we can throw together. I don't have anything prepared currently right now for distressed properties, but certainly a few ideas I can pull from old ads that I had run that had some success for sure. And yeah, throw some stuff together. And as with anything, test, right? Short sprints. Come, we'll help you build a few of those ads on Tuesday. By Wednesday, we'll know if it worked or not. Right, so definitely a good idea. Check the master Calendly link for the custom ad class. It's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. I'd be happy to help you guys build that.
Yeah, and it's good to stay up on your comments anyway. So if you haven't already, jump in your Facebook ads you've been running for a little while and just check to see if you have any comments. There's a lot of power. I mean, Lenny, you were asking a little earlier about the split testing, and you say, okay, I see like at the end of the week, it maybe tapers off. That can be pretty normal cycle. And, you know, I've seen people message every weekend in their ads or whatever. It can actually be a little bit based on who Facebook has attracted in their first initial 500 split test impression. And so they might have attracted a certain type of audience that happens to be online during the week and then a little bit less online on the weekend. That's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That's just the nature of the audience that they've attracted. But if they're in there and they're commenting and they're getting that building that social proof on your ad, you can take an ad's performance and you can 2x it overnight just by having a good ad or a good comment and then maybe responding to a comment. And then also just check, it can do the opposite as well. If you see your ad performance just tank, first place to check your comments, because if something stops working for some reason, it's probably a comment. It's very unusual for an ad to hit that max frequency percentage and just boom, the ad stops working. Usually what happens is Facebook's got more than enough audience. They got people logging on every single day. I think the average time people log on is 8 times a day. They have a ton of people in your market who are there. They're checking marketplace, they're going on, they're seeing how their friends are, they're going to visit their groups, and then they see your ad. It's just another new person to seeing it. So there's but just check the comments, make sure those comments are being so that would be like, oh, definitely an action today as well if you haven't already. Steve.
Yeah.
So when you check, when you see it kind of tank off and you check the comments and you see like a negative comment, do you erase that comment or do you try to bounce something off of it to
I've seen ad comments get turned around. If you have very few comments or no comments, just get rid of it. Don't even worry about it. And because it's like the amount of effort it's going to take to turn that comment around, and you need a good comment to come back later, I say get rid of it. If you enjoy that thing and you just like that really fuels you love turning comments around, do it. But usually, like if you got 2 or 3 positive comments and then you get a negative comment and then someone comes in there with like a friendly GIF and they are able to turn it around. I've seen people turn it into a conversation offline, where at the end of it, the thread, I've got it saved somewhere, it was so amazing. The person was like, okay, yeah, actually, I'd like to call you. Can you give me a call? That was off a negative comment. So I've seen the power of being able to turn it the other way. But if someone's just going to click on the comments and read it, they may not click to actually read the thread underneath it. They're just going to see the negative comment and move on. People get pre-framed psychologically before they take an action. In fact, like if you do conversion testing on landing pages and you have a sign that looks like a warning symbol or a caution symbol, even language in there, there was a huge study on landing pages with the language used. If there's words of caution or something like that included in the landing page, the conversion rate plummets, because that starts to pre-frame people's mind. They can't help it. It's just psychologically planting a seed, and now they're seeing the next step and they're taking caution. And so when you see a negative comment, just get rid of it if it's your only comment. And then if you've got lots of good comments and you have a negative comment, sure, have fun with it.
Will that ad come back if you remove the comment, or we have to start?
Yeah. It'll come back.
Yeah.
You should see a response like within the next 24 hours.
And a lot of the times you can look at your comment section kind of as a frequently asked questions section, right? I mean, Facebook loves engagement. Like John's saying, they love, if you can take a so-so comment, and even if people don't read that thread, turning one comment into 5, it's engagement, and Facebook will, appreciate that. It's a social platform, and what they're trying to do is put people together, right? So positive comments really, really do aid. And if you're getting a comment that you're either uncomfortable answering, it's nasty, racist, homophobic, some kind of troll nonsense, exactly like John said, delete the comment, block the individual, move on, don't even worry about that one anymore, right? But if something is possible to be turned around, it adds to your professionalism, because other people, if they do read that thread, they'll see, oh, this was a pretty out there comment. Look at the way Steve handled it. And, something that's maybe, if it's your personality, a little tongue in cheek, a little borderline cheeky, that's still professional. I think those go well. And again, somebody like myself, I'm potentially clicking on that, and I know that trolls exist, and it is what it is. I love seeing a troll get put in their place. So if an agent who I'm potentially, interested in working with didn't go over the top, remain professional, but really had a strong answer back, that's going to add to my, you know, willingness to engage with that individual personally, right? But again, just for the number of comments alone, it's always best. If you get a comment that's decent or not horrible, try to ask another question, right? Turn that comment into a thread, right? Then instead of having 2 comments on the thing, you have 120 in time. That's really, really good in the eyes of Facebook.
One of my favorite turnarounds, once I saw this, it was a restaurant, and somebody went to go to the restaurant, and they sat down and they didn't order anything. They just wanted a cup of or a glass or hot water and a lemon, just a lemon in the water. And I think this might have been Europe, but they go to leave, but they got a bill for $1.50. And so they were infuriated that they were given this bill for $1.50. So they went on and they wrote a really mean comment on this person's page. And so they responded, and the response was amazing. It was just so simple. It was, I'm really sad or sorry that you had this, negative experience. We love to have you around. Obviously, when you were sitting there, we couldn't serve someone else, and we'd love to serve someone else in that table. While we were serving you, we had to pay for the server's wage, and it cost this much money. We also gave you a lemon, and you were the only person who had a lemon that whole day. So that lemon cost us whatever it was per dollar, and we had to pay for the hour of the chef to do the work, to cut the lemon. And it was just this really simple explanation of what the value was of just simply by being there, and then the rent and how much that table cost per the time they were there. And then everybody's comment after that was just so supportive on the side of the business. And so it's like sometimes you can flip things around just by sharing facts, and or by allowing people to be aware of not sharing facts, but just by allowing people to be aware of the other side of the story. And so that can be fun too. But again, it's simple. If you have no comments and you get a negative comment, just remove it. If you've got a lot of comments, you get a negative comment, you can have fun with it. But that will impact your performance.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can I ask something? Can we go back to the address only ones and what Rich is doing with his card? It's something I wanted to ask about because I know, we get a lot of them. Some of us are frustrated with them. I personally can't keep up with them anymore. I mean, I was going to have a plan on what to do with them. I mean, since this Zoom call started and I was late, I just got them from a bike ride. I've gotten 2 of them. So my first question on the system, when somebody puts their address in and fails to put any kind of contact information, do you guys notate that at all to them? Like, thank you for your request. If you'd like this sent, we need some sort of comment, at least, something like that then tells them, and, click here if you wish to proceed. So, possibly they know they're making a request and offering no way for us to send it to them. Even possibly another option in there, and I think this may be a good way to check if they're the actual owners, asking if they want it mailed. But I just don't know if there's any thoughts in system, eventual system upgrades like that, because for some of us it's just getting out of control. With the follow-up we need to do with the ones that do give us contact information, which I'm doing a horrible job at, and I'm trying to ramp up. I'm at a point that I can't even look at them. It's unfortunate, but it's like, in the morning I'm deleting a few of them. Maybe eventually I'll send postcards out like he's doing, but in my head, it seems that like there should be something in the system that, kind of like a flag, like, hey, thank you for your request. How would you like us send to this? You're not giving us, and if they want to proceed, sure, send it in. You requested it with no information. That way they're kind of expecting nothing. I mean, does that make any kind of sense at all?
Totally does.
Yeah, that makes sense. The other thing, there's 2 thoughts on that. One is on your form, you could potentially change the language on the second step. So after they enter the address, you can say, okay, exactly that. Thank you for your request. How would you like to send this in? Something like that. Would you like to receive it? The other thing is, I know we've done some really good sessions in the past on Zapier with integrating all of this right into a mailer. And I'm not sure, Troy, do we have any of those like recorded from the past? Because So there's Troy's sending some examples, but I think we did some, there were some pretty cool setups that you can do through Zapier where you can actually automate it right to the postcard. So if they have an address only, you can have it automatically going out there and having your postcards getting sent to them.
Yeah, you can check out thanks.io and you can do a Zap connection with them, and they do all these really cool cards. And so you can have that address automatically go to them, and then it'll just send that out.
That's a good idea, because as we grow with the system, and there's a point where you look at those and it's like I ain't got time for that now, kind of, and they just disappear.
Yeah, you're basically leveling up your problems because at the beginning, I love it when Jennifer talks about Jennifer Salter. She's like, sometimes she feels unemployed. And so she's like, just keep me employed. You're looking for busy work, it's like, oh, good. Now I have somebody to follow up with. I'm excited. But there's other times, which is good, when you're so busy, you're like, I don't have time to follow up with address onlys anymore. That's a good problem to have. So you want to set up a system that ensures that you can stay efficient so you can focus on the bigger problems. As your business gets busier, your business is becoming more systemized at the same time. So that's a really good way of leveling up.
Another thing I could do is take the 2 hours that I'm going to go to the pool, or actually going to the beach here in South Florida today and do that, but I'm not. Sorry, guys, I'm in South Florida. Marcus, when you put your post up the other day, where do you dream about living? Anybody who wants to come where I am, just here, quick. Can everybody see my coconut tree?
Beautiful.
I can make your dreams happen here in the land of crazy. But it is crazy, but we have great weather. So anybody wants to come on. We want more crazy people.
And Philip, real quick, yeah, that sounds great. It's pretty warm here. It's we don't have palm trees though, unfortunately. But you did mention one thing. You're deleting them if you're waking up. You're deleting a bunch. Even if you don't plan on doing anything with them right now, don't delete them. You've already paid for that information, and you may just get you may come up with a new idea in 3 months from now. You're like, hey, I'm going to use Thanks.io, or this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and hire, now that the kids are out of school, I'm going to go pay somebody $5 an hour to, send mailers. Who knows? But then they can go back through your old database as well then. So don't delete them for sure.
I'm deleting them in my email. I'm not deleting the comments. It's just when I open my email, I'm OCD with my email. I can't have 200 emails sitting there. So no, I'm not deleting the contact, just the emails in the morning. That's all.
Philip, even if you have those leads that you don't want, I have a team in our brokerage that they will take any lead that I don't want and they will follow up with it, and then I will get a percentage. So if I don't have time to follow up with them, I will give it to that team and they will follow up with it and get a percentage of it. So if you don't want them, find somebody who does and take a percentage.
That's actually not a bad strategy. It's just putting that out there, for people that are willing to chase addresses right now.
And one thing that I used to do that was highly beneficial was there was a few neighborhoods here where I live, and fair enough, we're in a pretty big area, but there was really 2 neighborhoods that I was really focused on. And so I coached sports. I knew a couple kids who were of appropriate age, I guess, and I used to pay them after school and stuff. I just kind of like a newspaper would. In my rounds, I'd drop off a big stack of mailers and I'd leave it in his parents' mailbox. They'd wake up or in the morning or whatever after school, and their job was to go, and I'd give them a list of addresses that I wanted them to hit. So it was like a direct mail campaign, and I'd leave a little, $100 or whatever was in the envelope for them as well. And it was considerably cheaper than any other direct mail campaign I'd ever done. And I'm also employing some neighborhood kid. And then if you choose a neighborhood kid, they're known in the neighborhood as well. So they're running around, and it bred a lot of positivity, and I did get a lot of calls from that. And again, it was very, very inexpensive. So if you can come up with a decent mailer and find a couple, kids who want to make a couple bucks, give them a couple bucks and let them, even if they don't hit your StreetText leads, go get them to flyer a whole neighborhood.
Well, it's harder here because we're all pretty much gated communities. It's unfortunately we can't do a lot of drive-bys and door knocking like we want to. It's unfortunate. So people down here just have too much money to spend.
I'd like to take a quick twist. Who would like to hear about some buyer ads and listing ads examples? Just so you know and you have that power to do. It's not like we always talk about sellers, and I get it, especially right now with the seller focus, but at some point when the market shifts, you want to be empowered, and you might want to be empowered right now anyways. One of the things I'm looking at, I like to study people's accounts. So if I go into Janky Patel's account, you know, I'm seeing that she's got like, you know, she spends a lot. Obviously, that's why she's got some great success. She does have a lot of assistant. I know she has ISAs and so forth, but you can see like $2,100 spent there, $1,100 spent there, $1,000 there, another $1,100 there, you know, $2,700 on this particular one. And the thing that I'm noticing about some of these ads is like the total cost per lead is not that great, but there's a ton of leads. And then when I'm looking at the actual ads, like she has 64 likes and comments, and then she has 20 comments here, and on this one she's got 9 shares on this particular ad, so it's being shared 9 times, which is creating a lot of relevancy with Facebook and probably organic leads that are coming in. And same thing here, you can see 6 shares, 18 comments, 115 people liking it. So if she's doing what I think she's doing, she's also reaching out to these people personally, or ISAs are, or somebody are, these people that are liking this ad, because every single like that she's generating, all 115 of these have a name, a full name, right? That are taking them right back to that Facebook profile. So they're pretty easy, generic style of ads, you know, see all available homes in Fremont. That's all, just all the homes in Fremont right there, you know, or, you know, see all available homes with the main floor master in Fremont. So just really easy stuff. This one is a listing ad that she's kept open forever because, you know, it's this new listing in Ardenwood, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Sounds like, you know, she's had it forever. So I don't know if it's already expired, but it's still working. And I guess a lot of people are looking for something like that, right? So at the end of the day, all of these ads are called lead ads. And when you click on any one of these lead ads, it literally auto-populates that person's information. So the beauty behind a lead ad, unlike the dynamic capture form, is it's going to auto-populate that buyer's email, full name, and phone number. So you're going to get that with one click, And then the next step, literally the next step should be redirecting them to that particular search or that property. So you want them to get that instantly. And so all I can tell you is it's so easy. And a lot of those, she's told me, are sellers. A lot of people that want something like that need to sell first, because they're just on Facebook looking today. You know, they're just on Facebook browsing. They weren't thinking about anything, again, just like we talk about all the time. So I like to use a call to action that is almost overwhelming. Like if you have like a list of all homes in Fremont and there's a ton of homes on Fremont, then your automation is all about saying, hey, you know, thank you so much. This is going to be overbearing. It's going to be overwhelming for you to kind of search through. So what I'd like to do for you is customize this experience. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, what's an ideal property look like for you? Bedrooms, bathrooms, you know, price point, amenities, school district. What could I do to get this list custom to you so that it's not you having to search through 150 properties, but rather we can filter this down to maybe 10. And at least there it feels customized, right? And the same thing was with the listing. You feel that custom message. And I think, I mean, with all those cases, you can be stepping into $2 phone numbers. So for some of you that are like, well, I want more phone numbers. Well, you should always be building your pipelines. Don't just focus on seller pipelines. These buyers are sellers as well. At the end of the day, you're just trying to create more influence all around. So it's a smart thing to start listing, using some listing funnels, smart thing to start doing some buyer funnels and the lead ad funnels. Experiment a little bit. Don't just focus on sellers, because you could be missing out on a huge opportunity there that are connecting both actually.
And a lot of home sellers start as home buyers, which we all know, but it's people want to make sure they found their dream home before they put their home on the market. A lot of times it's and so it's a good place to get people who are moving into the market to list their home as well. And then often you can get a conversation started pretty quick with the buyer, because you give them what they're looking for. Let's say they're looking for a list of properties. You send them that list of properties. Now it's on a auto mailer, whether you're sending it through the Matrix or like your internal MLS system. Now they're getting that list, which is great. So they're getting that from you every single week. on week 2, you can send them an email or pick up the phone or just make a little list while you're driving around doing shows. And you can, pick up the phone and call people and say, hey, you got the list. Is there anything you'd want to make adjustments to? Or you could have your assistant do the same thing. Just have them reach out and ask, like, is there anything you're looking for, a different kind of home? Are you looking for 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms? It's a great way to start the conversation because you're coming from a place of serve. So you're serving them, it's contribution, you're asking them how you can help them. And you're building that relationship right from the get-go. And now they're getting your email every single week on autopilot. You don't have to do anything to send it to them, but you're building that relationship. And generally speaking, once a buyer's pre-approved, especially right now, they want to be in the market. So you're gonna get clients a lot faster too. So it's a great it's a good strategy to bundle into your seller lead strategy.
Yeah, I'll show you how easy it is. Like it's this buyer campaign lead ad, and you just click select on there, and literally the city is populated. So for her, it was like Fremont right there, and then the home type you might say in like single family homes, right? Or whatever you want there. So in this case, it'd be see all available single family homes in Fremont. I would pick an image that you could create that would be really sound and architecturally correct to that particular area. Don't embellish it. Don't use something that's not realistic. So get that uploaded in there, and then
you can create that on Canva. Super easy, super simple. And exactly, that's a really important thing for conversions. If you want to get a lot of traffic, a lot of conversions, make sure you pick an image that looks like the kinds of homes people are going to be looking for.
100%, easy. And then you click next, follow-up URL. So that's where they're being redirected to once they provide their information. So I know you don't all have this type of thing, but maybe you figure out if your service offers it. Like for the example here, an IDX link for that search would be something that would give me a bunch of pages, like directly, it'd take me right to that search of property. So in the example of Fremont, what if there, if there's 480 listings, I'm going to be like, well, shoot, where do I even begin here? I'm not going to go race. So in my mind, the bigger the inventory, the bigger the available on that call to action, the more it needs you on the other side, like on the other side to actually pin that home. So you can, think about it, what you need to do. If that means opening this up to a county, if that means opening this out to like just a bigger, larger demographic area, so you can get a very large search going, that's a good, smart move. Now, again, this is the follow-up URL that redirects them. And then you click next and everything else is the same. Figure out with buyers, it's not always just that little area that you're targeting. It could be out of state. It could be multiple pin drops. So you can use the pin drop. You can use the targeting locations. Just for fun, I'll just type in something here to get us past the next step. And then next, just like we do with everything else, you just go, do a little split with it and deploy. So very easy, very, very, very easy to use. You do got to remember with anything with a lead ad, anything that's attached to a lead ad, it's a Facebook permission. So you have to actually make sure before you launch any leads ads that you're connected right up here in your Facebook pages where it says primary and that lead button. You got to make sure it's green for you to actually get approved by Facebook to use their Facebook lead ad form, because it's not a Facebook lead cap, or it's not a StreetText lead capture. It's a Facebook capture form. Any questions on that? Anybody?
Yeah, Marcus, you said that something had to be green, but I couldn't see it on the screen as to where it was.
So if you go to your Facebook pages on your settings, it's right up there on the top right where it says primary is already green, and then right next to primary it says connect leads. And so you have to connect leads, and then they'll both light up in green. It'll give you an authorization form, and now you can run into any lead ad, which is going to be used primarily for your buyer ads and your listing ads.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Marcus, when it asks me to connect to my Facebook page, it gives me 2 choices, and neither one of them are my business page.
What is it asking you? Like what choices? That might be you should do is just use a little chat feature on the bottom right and see if they have to, it might be you have to disconnect and reconnect your account to give you the right choice.
Is it asking for your personal page, Kristen?
No, it's got like these 2 unused pages from years ago that's showing up, but I'm currently running StreetText ads through my business page, the right one, and it's going really, really good. So I'm like nervous, but my active business page on Facebook isn't even one of the choices.
Do you have 2 ad accounts?
I only have one.
It sounds to me like, I mean, well, we'd have to look into that a little bit further. It sounds like you have 2 ad accounts. Every ad account can have its own Facebook business pages. So if the one is connected through Facebook or through StreetText and you're running ads on it, that's fine. The other one should point into the same direction. That would be strange for it not to, of course. But yeah, we'll have to look into see what we can do on our side to help with that. But it should typically, when you go through that, it should ask you for your personal page first. And then walk you through to your ad account and then the business page you want to connect to. So I'm not sure what's going on.
When in doubt, take a screenshot and just send to support, and we can look into it deeper.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll need to make any changes if it's performing great. Just keep it running. Yeah.
Just let it run for now until it doesn't work.
Well, it actually, so we've been doing, so we're making some changes on the back end. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I think, based on everything we know right now, if you have a seller's ad that's running right now, it'll keep working. Just moving forward, you'll have to make sure that you have your domain set up for that to be possible, because we're actually going to fire the events using your domain, even if they're coming in the way that you're having come in right now. So so that should take care of it. It's untested, unverified. I'm sure the dev team right now is like, don't say anything, but but yeah, so it should be good. So just keep it running. If it's working great, keep it running.
Yeah, I have the same, I always have the same problem. And nobody's been able to help me figure it out. They always say call Facebook, but I never get a response from Facebook. It always points to, like she said, old account, old Facebook accounts, or I have a mobile notary, or it'll bring that one up, but I'm not trying to connect to that one. So it's frustrating. So if you figure it out, let me know.
And yeah, it is frustrating, especially when you reach out to Facebook and they take 3 weeks to respond. That said, they are getting better. The last couple of weeks they've gotten a lot better.
One of the ways that I know Aiden has helped, and sometimes is he sends over an authorization link and you just disconnect and then connect again, and it connects to the right ones. So there's an authorization link that we can get where you can disconnect your account and then reconnect it. It's not going to do anything but reconnect it and give you the refreshing options. So that's another option there too.
What was that? You said Nathan?
Aiden, and your
Aiden.
The bottom right chat feature of your StreetText dashboard.
Hey Marcus, my sister-in-law in California is so excited that she is jumping in for join StreetText annually because she saw my Facebook page, my personal business, and she got excited. She goes, I want in.
Give her your affiliate link, so you get credit for that. You have a little affiliate link in your settings.
I do.
Yeah, and everybody does. So if you go to your settings and you go to affiliates, give her that link. It'll show up in your account, and you'll get 10% off your account for that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she'll be assured that I'm coaching her too.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. So you said make sure we have our new domain on our postcards. When I type in my new domain, it goes to StreetText. It doesn't go to my Find Your Home Value page unless I put all those numbers behind it that go to an ad. So
That's what's going on with me too.
So do we need to put all those numbers there and then do a bit.ly and create a shorter link? And I mean, it's
in the name of expediency, efficiency, the dev team really was just trying to push it out as fast as possible to get the domains for you. There will be an update coming, which will be making that the homepage of your domain sort of like a profile page for you. But you can still do the URL masking. So that'll still work. So you could still do a short version. So yourdomain.com/home value, let's say. And then that could be,
Oh, wait, where was that again? How do you find
it
that?
should be on the pages. Like if you go to, I think it's boost/pages, you can find masking and then you can create a mask for it. And then that way you can have a nice URL to type in for your domain.
Oh, okay. Because now we have a new beginning. So we just click on add mask. Oh, it still says streettext.com/web.
The mask should work directly to domain. I'll check that. I'll send you a, yeah, I'll make a note on the insider group.
Yeah, edits, if I wanted to edit the mask. Oh. Ooh, yeah, I don't want to do that. That has a whole bunch of your kind of stuff. Code. Okay, so yeah, I have a whole bunch of ads, but if I say add mask, yeah, it says https streettext.com/web, and then I can enter my thing. So it still won't do the Wendy Sells homes, right? Until you guys fix it. Yes.
I will double check. I'm just double checking this right now. And then,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I would love to put those on the cards because then, you know, it would be cool.
100%.
Yeah. One of the things I've been talking about on some of my Facebook lives is, you know, let's address the elephant in the room. Number one, when someone clicks on one of these instant market values, they think they're getting an instant market value, right? No one thinks that there's another realtor on the back end of that's connecting with them. So you got to make sure that that initial touch, whatever that touch is super humanized, like so that there's no doubt in their mind that this is not like a bait and switch. This isn't an instant market value. And also the elephant in the room for me is, you know, anybody can Google their address right now and have 6 different market values, right? Right. I mean, that's obvious. Go ahead and put in your address, especially in the States. It's going to say Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, Redfin, Movado, any other services. So that could be something you can play around with. Play around with that thought process, why they're not getting the instant market value, because they could Google it themselves if that's what they wanted. And your service is not an algorithm. Your service is not an internet's best guess, especially in this market right now. It doesn't take into consideration the locality of the homes being sold. It doesn't take in consideration anything with the interior. All those things that, you know, could truly affect the market value right now. This is why you asked for their appointment. This is why you asked for a tour of the home, or at the very least some pictures and some more feedback. So I think that could actually serve you if you start thinking about that in that initial introductory video, as this is not, you know, an instant market value, because anybody could go do that with Google right now. I could go as a homeowner and Google my home, and I'm going to have some idea, but it's not going to be realistic. It's not going to be true to the market conditions today. It's not going to be taking consideration my local neighborhood. It's just going to be an algorithm that factors in similar square footage, bedroom and bathroom, and that's basically it, right? That's why we know we don't trust on Zillow for your home value. Yes, Pamela, go ahead. You gotta unmute yourself there. Not working?
There. Okay.
There we go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I have been just wanting to share. I've been getting a lot of leads with email addresses, sometimes phone numbers, but a lot of leads with email addresses, like so many that I'm overwhelmed. And what I've been doing is there's the Julie thing, et cetera, but I have a BombBomb account and I made a little template. It's very simple. It's got a little color. It's got the Coldwell Banker logo on it. The social media stuff on the bottom. It took me maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes to figure out how to make it something that I like. So it wasn't that hard. And then I followed the Marcus template on hi something, video, and then a little text on the bottom. Okay, so I have a template. And even if it takes me 2 days to send that video, people are responding. People look at it. I am getting, well, I'm just curious. One of them, I looked and then my video, it says, I was looking up on the tax records just to make sure about the size of the home so I can find similar properties in the neighborhood. And I see you are not the homeowner. Are you helping the homeowner? Let me know so I can figure out a way to best help you. And then a very short version of that in the text is like most of my videos are like 20 to 25 seconds max. Keep it short. I have a little template that I typed up so that I don't stray from my template and make it too long. And I am actually getting responses. No listings yet, but I'm getting responses. And then cause I'm getting so many, and then I have other appointments and buyer appointments and an old mom and dad that are 82 and 89, and you have to deal with that kind of stuff too. Even if it takes me 4 or 5 days to send them that not automated CMA, they're realizing that it's not an automated CMA. And the minute I send that BombBomb video, a lot of people look at it. And my BombBomb CMA video has a link to the PDF, and it says, here it is. Hi, Pam Hotel again. I am following up with your Facebook property value request for 123 Main Street, or whatever the address is, and then the video. And then I have included a link for you. Here it is. Here is your property value. And it's super easy, and people are actually reading it. So I just wanted to share what I'm doing, and I don't have anybody saying, come list my house yet, but they're actually paying attention. And I think that's a good start.
That's an awesome start. Way to go.
That's amazing.
And that is amazing. So it's that a really good mindset too. So it's about the pathway to success. So you want to make sure, number one, you're getting responses. Check, boom, you're getting that. So now the second question for you is, so what are you going to do with, what are you doing right now with those responses?
I'm following up. I mean, even if I'm out on an appointment and I see the email, I say, wow, that's great. Thanks for getting back to me, and keep an eye out on your email.
Perfect.
And then
awesome.
in the next day or so, I'll do the CMA with a little personalized, and then the link for it. Here's your and then I call it the preliminary property value, because I haven't been to the house.
Yes. So ask, send that, follow up with that, Pamela, and ask for, 2 available times. Hey, does Thursday at 7 or Friday at noon work best for you, for me to come over and give you a complimentary walkthrough of the home?
I'm working the courage up to do that next. It's a little baby steps. So that'll be my next sort of modification to the template. But right now I'm setting up a system. I'm putting them in my CMA and on my what is it called? The CRM, not CMA, CRM. And that has some stuff that I can set up automatically, like a market report for their zip code. And it goes out once a month. And I send them a little personalized note card with my picture and my name on it, following up on the CMA. What did you think of it? And so I'm working on setting up a system so that I don't become too overwhelmed and then fall off the track.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Alfredo, I'm glad
that's so smart.
Here. If you want to unmute yourself, Alfredo, I know you got a great win.
Yeah, hey, how's everybody doing today? And I checked in super late because I was running around all this morning. So I am here now. And yes, I did the trial back in February. I think it was February. And I sent out a CMA on February 3rd to a listing that they gave me a number, an email, and address, of course. Didn't answer calls and didn't respond to emails. So I decided to just send them a CMA, and I sent them a booklet. This is what our CMAs look like here. They're hardcover booklets. So I mailed them a CMA in an overnight envelope, and I sent them a letter with a wax seal stamp on it. I don't have any envelopes to show you guys, but I had a handwritten note that said, hey, thank you so much for inquiring about your property's value. I look forward to chatting with you. And didn't hear anything for about a month. And then on March 15th, I believe, they left me a voicemail, a 2-minute voicemail, because I missed their call. So I called them back. It was a Wednesday, and we spoke for an hour and a half. And then on Friday, we set an appointment to meet. he canceled on me. And then I followed up and we met this past Friday. We sat down for a listing appointment. It was about 2 hours long and we signed a $2 million listing, and it was an absolute amazing win. But it just goes to show that these people are real and it really works. It's just constant matter of, for this one, it was just follow up, regardless of the fact that they didn't respond to my calls, they didn't respond to my emails. I still went out of my way to spend money to make a CMA and ship it overnight to them. And I didn't hear anything for literally a month, even though I followed up with email and calls. Still didn't hear anything until eventually they called me, and then we met up and made it happen.
That's awesome. Well done, Alfredo. And there's something there as well. It's really important is that if you go to the work, just making a CMA, I mean, that there's a lot of work involved in that, right? You know, even if you come up with a super efficient process like, you know, Wendy has, or you still are putting your time into putting the CMA together. So making that count, following up 1 month later, 2 months later. A lot of people are inquiring on their home value. It comes up on their screen because they're thinking about getting into the market in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. And so following up on that 1 month mark, following up on the 2 month mark, the 3 month mark, and then that becomes part of like your monthly, you know, you just pick a day in the month and say, okay, this is my follow-ups to this group of cohorts. It's where you're gonna see that. So it's awesome, Alfredo. Like way to just crush it.
Yes, I think StreetText allows us to produce a great quantity of leads, but I think we're really, with any lead, any online lead, and regardless, any lead at all, it's always the quality of the follow-up. I could give somebody 100 leads, but if I don't follow up, it doesn't turn into anything. But if you give it to somebody that does follow up constantly, weekly, monthly, whatever, it does turn into something, because that's all my buyers leads, all because of follow up. So it's just flipping that switch and now doing it for the sellers, and it's really working.
That's awesome. And you know, there's another advantage, Marcus, you talked about this right now as well, which is the internet can't keep up with the market. And I think this is the biggest advantage, like own this advantage in real estate, because, you know, there are competitors out there like Zillow or you name it that want to try to position themselves as being, you know, the smartest in the real estate. And yet they are way behind. They can't keep up with home values. They can't keep up with what's going on right now. And this is your huge advantage. And so really, like, the more you are on top of mind with like what's going on with the market, what's happening, you're building into people's minds this understanding. Okay, this is the expert. This is who I want to work with, and these are real people. These people can help me navigate. Like, you can help them navigate this really big decision. And if you have a $2 million property, who do you want working with you? I want somebody who's smart, who knows the market, who is an expert in the industry, who's, you know, a professional, who's following up, because I know that they're going to do the same thing with my property. So I think that's a really key thing. So, you know, even as we're coming to the end of this mastermind, you know, maybe there's another question or something coming up here, but as we're coming, just keep that in your mind. Like, this is an opportunity right now for you to really just, I love the leveling up that I'm hearing in here, like the different programs that are being offered, taking the service a whole nother level. You know, you are you've got a real big opportunity in front of you this 2021, and it's cool to look at the end of the year and say, okay, great, I had a goal and I surpassed the goal. That's exciting. That's fun. But I think it's even more exciting when you look at where you're going and you realize, okay, I can actually kind of create the industry. I can create the kind of experience that I desire to see in the future, just by being a really great professional, by being being the person that everybody really is looking for and desiring to meet. And at the end of the year, you get to sit back and you can be really proud of that. So it's exciting. So like, I've said this before and I say it again, I'll say this every single day, like, you're likable. People need to get to know you. They want to get to know you. You know, you're friendly, you're personal. And so get out there, meet people, go and when they get to meet you, they get to experience who you are. They get to introduced to you, whether it's through BombBomb videos or emails or text messages. You're a really good person. So they need to get to know you. You have the best interest of their needs at your heart. So that's something to be proud of, and to know that mentally in the back of your mind, that you have, like, I love this concept that, and it's so true. It's like, there's really, really good people going into business. They deserve to meet really great clients, and those clients that have really big problems that they're trying to solve, like how do I list my home? What do I price in this? This is a confusing market. They deserve to meet really great service professionals. So go out there and meet them, because you're doing the world a really good service just by doing that, just by being found. Isn't that it's true.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks again for a great mastermind. Appreciate all your shares. Keep on coming back.